Well, I'm very excited to be chatting with you all. I'm a huge Fear Street fan, and I think Prom Queen just continues the franchise in such a fun and exciting way. Ella, I'd actually love to start with you first because I was also a really big fan of Until Dawn, and so I love that this is sort of continuing your joining of the modern Scream Queen ranks. How does it feel for you to be continuing that with Fear Street and to, have horror fans like me really embrace your work?
Well, first of all, thank you. It's like such an honor, genuinely. I revere horror and the artistry that it kind of pushes forward. And I've always been sort of a scaredy cat about horror, but also just in terms of the way actresses kind of the Scream Queen thing, I think so many horror films are such an incredible showcase for so many of my favorite actresses, and so it's just really an honor to get to do horror a lot, and like you said, people embracing it is a relief, kind of, and also just really exciting and really fun, and the point of horror is to be in a theater and emote and react and watch with your friends and kind of have this shared experience of a feel, an intense feeling. Yeah. And so that's my dream as an actress is just to have people be excited in a theater. Yeah. And so, or at home watching Netflix. Either way. And so I've just been kind of feeling really, really lucky and excited, and I hope I get to be lucky enough to do this forever. Because also the horror fans are really, it's a really cool, a loyal group of fans, and I just think it's such a beautiful thing to love a genre and dedicate yourself to a genre, and so I just feel really lucky, and I hope the fans embrace this film as well, because I just can't believe I've gotten to do so much of this. So yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Well, I definitely think fans are going to, because there's a lot to love in this film, not just the horror elements, but also the characters, which, Ariana, I'd love to turn to you next, because Christy is someone who's really interesting in that she's a Shadysider who seems to embrace sort of the lower rung nature of Shadyside, but also recognizes that she doesn't need to be anything else. She sort of is who she is. What was it like really anchoring yourself in her when going into your performance?
Totally. I feel like Christy accepts her reality and she lives with it. I love comparing Christy to the other girls in the movie, like Tiffany and even Lori and Melissa, and Miss, what's your character's name? Debbie.
Girl, Deb.
I'm exhausted. No, but I think what I loved about her is that she is so grounded. She's not very optimistic. She does what she needs to do. She knows her reality, and she just lives her life the way she wants to. She doesn't really care about the perception of others in the school. She doesn't care about status or how she's perceived, which I think is really kind of fun and interesting to kind of be that free spirit that is in when she needs to and out exactly when she can. And yeah, she doesn't care about judgment. And she takes it all, and she in one ear, out the other, and she's definitely a fun one to even watch, I might say, because you kind of never know what she's gonna do, and less is more for her, and she's just this life is stupid, the high school is stupid, and I do what I can. So yeah.
She was a really enjoyable character to watch, and I'm sure as a performer, very freeing, like you said, to really get to play. So I love that you got to be a part of that. And Rebecca, I'll turn to you next, because Debbie's really interesting in that she seems like she's almost fighting with Tiffany for the crown more than necessarily being her earpiece. What was it like walking that sort of balance between being an ally to Fina's character, but also, knowing you have your own goals for your life?
Mm-hmm. I think that Debbie is really vying for that spot. That's her it girl. Tiffany is her it girl, and she's vicious in a way that if she could have that spot, she would have it. But she knows her place, and she's kind of competing more with Melissa than Tiffany. She wants to be number 2 at the very least. And she really feels that Melissa's coming for that number 2 spot. And that makes her really angry. And so it's fun to play that kind of dynamic with all the girls. And Debbie does feel like a wolf to me. You know what I mean? She is quite quite vicious, quite evil, in a way that's really like exaggerated and fun to play.
She's also quite crafty, which makes for some fun moments leading up to, unfortunately, what comes for everybody in this film. But I see I have to wrap, so I won't get to talk with that anyways. But thank you all so much for taking the time. I really do appreciate it. Again, I think this movie continues the franchise in a fun way, and I can't wait for people to see it.
Oh,
Thank you
so
so
much.